Hello everyone, my name is Betsy Markle, and this is the Metabolism Mojo Facebook group. And we are going to be talking about sugars, okay? But actually before we go there, I want to talk about something that was like really fun today that happened in my world. So I had a break in my schedule, and I always love being outdoors, and I love the water, and we are so fortunate to live here by the river. So we went paddling, and I took Katie with me, our office manager, and so I'm like so excited I had someone to go with me. But we saw dolphins, like so many dolphins, and they were all having sex. Okay, like all of them. It was absolutely wild. It's probably so inappropriate for me to share all of it because it was like dolphin porn. It was just dolphins going crazy. Katie and I saw like all of their private parts, and I sit the whole time while we were paddling. It was like almost for a whole hour we were watching this, but my mouth was open the whole time, like, oh my gosh. So it was so crazy. So I'm just sharing because I think it's just fun to share those facts of your day. And maybe just a random question would be, what animals have you seen fornicate? And how wild was it? Was it as crazy as seeing dolphins go at it for a whole hour? And as a group, not just two, like all of them going at it for a whole hour. So just bear with me for sharing my silliness, but I hope you enjoy. On to more specific topics. We're talking about sugar today and hidden sugar. So maybe you can relate, and maybe you say, I don't know why I can't, lose weight and heal my metabolism. Like maybe it's something I'm eating. Maybe I'm having too many hidden sugars in my diet, and that definitely can be the case. So when you are having too much sugar in your plan and your nutrition, you might feel that you have like more highs and lows in the day. Like I feel really like good and energized, and then maybe like 3 hours later you're exhausted. So that might be from the sugar content. You might be a little bit more moody at times, so you're kind of like anxious in your body, or a little snippy at people, and that can be from your sugars going up and down during the day. So those are going to be like the main things. Sugar in general tends to cause bloat for people. So if you have tendency to have GI issues, so that might be the case as well. So just little things to think about. And then obviously for most people, they're trying to drop a few pounds or just maintain their weight to be at a good level. So we want to eat a diet that is cleaner and that does not have a lot of sugar in it. And we're going to monitor that. So I want to just teach you a few things today. Just as a general rule I always just try to make it simplify things for you guys. If I were to have my say and I'm working with a client directly, every meal we're going to try to keep probably 10 grams of sugar or less. If I'm working with a diabetic, I'm going to do lower in the sugar grams. Or if someone who's insulin resistant and their A1C is increasing, I would slim down on the amount of sugar even more so. So 5 to 10 grams is a reasonable number. Okay, so hidden sugars. Where do you think there are hidden sugars? You don't see it, but right behind this camera is going to be a lot of products that I just grabbed from my pantry. Let's start with some condiments. I'm going to start with ketchup. Okay, ketchup tends to be one where there's hidden sugar in here. So basically, I'm always going to go to the serving size first because you have no clue if it's this whole container of ketchup or if it's just a squirt. So this is 1 tablespoon, so it's a pretty big squirt. And for this one, it's 5 grams of total carbs. 3 of them are sugar. Okay, that's a fair amount, especially if you're like my kids and you're like nonstop, so much ketchup. So, and then this is more of a natural ketchup that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it. So that's nice to find those kinds of ketchups out there. But all in all, I would not go crazy in the ketchup department. It does have a fair amount of sugar, especially if you're going to go past that 1 tablespoon. So I did bring out other tomato products because tomatoes tend to, when they cook down, they release some sugar. It's like when you have a raw tomato, it's got all this fiber and it's firm. And then when they cook down, those fibers break down more into sugar grams. So tomato products tend to have a little more sugar. So this is tomato sauce. This is not an organic, cleaner, lower sugar one. This is a more basic one, a marinara sauce. It's got 9 grams of carbs in the half of a cup. Usually if we do tomato sauce, maybe half a cup, maybe a little more, I'm not sure. But 5 of them are sugar grams. But if you think about it, you're like 5 grams, Betsy says that's doable. But then you're saying, okay, are you gonna have that on pasta and have like 30, 40, 50 grams of carbs in pasta and then the extra 5 to 10 grams of sugar in the sauce? So things to think about there. I have another one. I have diced tomatoes. You know, it's same world, 3 grams of sugar in this half a cup of diced tomatoes. I don't think they add extra sugar in this. No, there's no extra sugar added. It's just naturally in tomatoes. So good to know tomato products a little bit. Let's go to, I'm just gonna quiz you. How many grams of sugar do you think is in quinoa? Okay. Since we're doing this, like it's just kind of fun to ask questions. Not everything has to be high sugar, but it's 0 grams of sugar. If you went into go brown rice, it would be same, 0 grams of sugar. And so it's just kind of, I just want to let, you know, kind of clue you in and just say a lot of people might think, oh, I gotta like really be careful of carbs. You're talking about total carbs, and this would be a complex carb, and it doesn't have any sugar. So this is where when I work with my clients and they have carb phobia, because they say that's going to put weight on, and then they're like really anxious, and they have these like, they have more adrenal stress in their world and they can't drop weight. A lot of times it's because too low of carbs. So I'm always going to be working with my clients to pick the right kinds of carbs, quality carbs that don't have a lot of sugar in them and that aren't high glycemic, meaning they absorb really fast. How many do you think are in green split peas? If I make a split pea soup or something like that, it is, let's see, in the quarter cup of dry, so about a half a cup. It's 22 grams of carbs, and then 3 of them are sugar grams. So it's got some sweet. You can taste something like split peas tends to be a little sweeter. So you can tell that there's a little bit, it's still just 3 grams. It's nothing crazy. And so much fiber, 9 grams of fiber in here. So this is definitely more of a complex carb. It's got 8 grams of protein in this because beans tend to have that balanced kind of complexity to it. So that's nice to know. Okay, next I'm gonna move on to the obvious, okay, honey. Okay, so many people say, oh, but it's not like real sugar, but honey does have a lot of sugar in it. You might be surprised how much. You know, I watch like my husband like have tea and then he just like squirts so much honey in there, and I'm trying not to say anything, you know, but I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm like, holy moly, that might have been 30 grams of sugar right there. So 1 tablespoon, which is not, I dare you to measure it once and just do like 1 tablespoon and put it in. That is 17 grams of sugar, okay? Total carbs is 17 grams, total sugars is 17 grams. It's all sugar in here. So yes, I like honey. Yes, it's raw honey. It's good for you in certain ways, and I do use it here and there, and I do use it in some of my baking products. But all in all, you want to be careful. You can go overboard on the sugar very, very easily on this. Okay, I'm gonna move on to fruit, okay? There is the obvious, or maybe you don't know it's so obvious, but dried cranberries is probably one of the scariest. Who was it? Someone just told me this. I think it was Stacy saying that she was having it, and she's just like, oh yeah, just a little bit. And then she actually counted it, and she's like, no, I didn't realize I was having this much. So 1/3 of a cup, which is not that much, it's like a small handful, has 33 grams of carbs. 28 of those are sugar grams. Okay, so 28 grams of sugar in cranberries, dried cranberries. That's way too much. If we set our like 5 to 10 gram limit here, way over, and that's where trail mix can kind of get you in trouble. This is where like I grabbed some like my dark chocolate, you know, and saying if I'm making a trail mix, I think I'd rather have this than this in there. You know, the dark chocolate in a tablespoon, so it's not very much, has 6 grams of sugar, but this is 28, you know? So it's just interesting to kind of learn from this and kind of pinpoint what has more sugar. And so fruit-wise, another more obvious one is if you have canned fruits, you know, what do you think? Okay, the serving size of this is a half a cup. It's at 16 grams of carbs, 15 of them are sugar. you know. It's the fruit of sugar, and then they usually add some kind of syrup in here to add extra sugar. So it's going to absorb pretty dang fast. I got a Smucker's jam, okay? The serving size is only 1 tablespoon. I'm assuming most people have more than 1 tablespoon. It's 10 grams of carbs. All 10 of them are sugar, okay? And I think this is a lower sugar one as well. It's a natural lower sugar one. Okay, so a bit much. We gotta be careful about the condiments. And then I just printed up some information because I feel like fruit we can really get in trouble with. So just question for you, you know, like, are you that kind of mentality that says, oh, fruit is natural, I can have it, it's fine. Well, if you struggle with your health, especially if you have cravings, you know, and you have those energy issues that I talked about, if you're just struggling with your weight, part of it could be fruit, okay? I love fruit. I think it's, you know, very good for you, and it's so nutrient dense when it comes to the vitamins and minerals, but when it comes to the actual sugar, it's not so great. Okay, so I have a list here. It's like the general serving is going to be 1 like small to medium piece of fruit. So if it's an apple, it's got 13 grams of total carbs. 10 of them are sugars. That would be quite a small apple, to be honest, but 10 grams of sugars in an apple. Okay, what do you think of banana? 22 grams of carbs in it. 12 of them are sugar. So it's a little bit higher than the apple. You always hear about bananas being higher glycemic. They have a little bit more sugar, they do. Grapes tend to be high in sugar, so they're 18 grams of carbs total, 15 of them are sugars. So it's like if you are that type of person who has like a bowl of fruit out and you just keep eating and eating it, and you're like, oh, it's just so good, it's so healthy. It turns out to be a lot of sugar. Here's a doozy. A lot of people like love mango. How much do you think is in a full mango? Like, not that big of a mango, but if you ate the whole thing, it's 50 grams, okay? 50 grams of sugar. It's actually 50 grams of carbs, 46 of them are sugar. So it can be a lot of sugar in there. So I hope that clarifies things for you. Again, if you are struggling at all with your health and how you feel on a daily basis, you know, sugar totally could be a problem for you, and you might not know how much is hidden. So I dare you to, you know, check it out, check what's in your fridge, in your pantry, and, you know, start to read ingredients more. When you go to the store, read. You know, I do work with my clients on a deeper level, and we do this. We do the pantry clean out, the fridge. We help them shop more cleanly, give like clean ideas. And I hope you know, like, nothing's an extreme. Like, I'm not all or nothing at all. I'm not the diet girl. I'm not a no sugar girl. Like, whatever you do in extreme is going to backfire on you. You just need to go in the right direction. And most importantly is mindfulness. You need to be able to like look and say, yeah, like this, I'm learning and understanding how much sugar is completely in things and how it makes you feel. Like, that's the main thing. If you have like a few meals back to back that tend to be higher in sugar, what happens? Do you start to like get really tired afterwards? Are you having bloat? Are you having cravings later on? The next week you have more cravings because of it. So it's just a really important thing. Just be mindful of kind of what you're doing on a daily basis. And as you all know, we're here for you. Stacy and I do personalized coaching with our clients. And if anyone needs more, you know, detailed help, just reach out. We always offer a free consult, and they're fun. I love meeting new people, and I love diving in and finding out kind of where the root problems are and see if we can fix them. And sometimes I'm not the answer. Stacy and I are not the answer, but overall, like, it's free. It's awesome. So I hope you guys learned some things from it. And I'm curious if anyone, I'm not good at looking at Facebook and talking at the same time, but does anyone have close to a dolphin story that I do? Okay. Katie and I, we rocked it today. Okay. Love you guys. Take care.